You don't struggle to get clients because you lack skill. You struggle because you avoid sales. Most consultants spend 5, 10, 20 years mastering their craft and 0 years mastering how to sell. So they build a website, post a few times, tell a few friends, but they still stay invisible. And someone less skilled but more confident makes the sale. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 steps to build your sales muscle from mindset to pitching to closing, so you stop praying for clients and start closing them. And the best part is, this will work even if you hate sales. My name is Faris Al-Halou. I started my entrepreneurial journey after getting laid off with 0 sales experience. Over time, I built an 8-figure consulting firm and sold it to global media giant Dentsu. I'm also a 4th degree black belt in Aikido, which helps me apply the principles of timing, discipline, and balance to my business endeavors. What I am sharing today got me my first clients and eventually helped me generate over $70 million in revenue. Let's step on the mat. The first step, we start fixing your identity. The identity shift. When I started my first business, I had 0 background in sales. Project management, yes. Marketing, some. Asking strangers for money, no way. And that is where most consultants get stuck. You're technically strong, but uncomfortable selling. 2 things here. 1, you're not a pushy salesperson. You're a problem solver. 2, if you think about it, in your corporate job, you've already done some selling. You've pitched ideas and solutions to problems, you defended budgets, and you've persuaded your boss to give you a promotion. In consulting, sales is the same thing. It's having conversations about problems you can solve. Once that clicked for me, sales stopped feeling sleazy and started feeling helpful. There's a part of sales that can feel icky, pricing, negotiation, and asking for payments, but you're not asking for charity. You're solving a real problem and being compensated for value delivered. Now, as we move into the next few steps, I want you focused on one metric, not revenue, not profit, not yet. Early on, your KPI, your key performance indicator, is conversations per week. Yes, conversations per week, because no conversations, no opportunities. And when consultants struggle to create opportunities, it usually comes down to one mistake. Let's talk about it. Step number 2, the biggest sales mistake. What is the biggest mistake you're making in sales? You talk too much. Top performing salespeople listen more than they speak. The growth technology company Gong analyzed thousands of sales calls. The top performers spoke a little bit over 40% of the time and listened about 60%. Most struggling consultants, the reverse. Why? Because you're eager, you're knowledgeable, and you want to prove yourself. So you list services, explain processes, dive into technical detail, and overwhelm the client. Sales is not about impressing. It's about listening and diagnosing. In Aikido, if you try to overpower your opponent, you lose. You don't force. You feel where the pressure is coming from, then you redirect it. Sales is the same. If you push, you create resistance. If you listen, you understand the energy in the room and you guide it. Before presenting anything, ask layered questions. What prompted this conversation? What happens if this isn't solved? What have you tried before? Who else is involved in the decision? And throughout the conversation, practice your active listening skills. Start by listening attentively and not just thinking about the next thing to say. Repeat back and summarize. So just to confirm, you mentioned, and then say what you heard. Pause before responding. Ask, tell me more, before you jump into your solution. And most importantly, notice what the leads emphasize: emotion and repeated words. Do that and you build trust because clients feel heard and understood. Check out my template for questions to ask your leads and a sample dialogue between a consultant and a lead, linked in the description. A pro tip here. This one is from the trenches and it hurt. Early on when I was learning how to sell, I attended a sales course. We had a great instructor, Marvin. He gave us a list of 30 plus questions and said, if you get solid answers to these questions, you'll have everything you need to close a deal. So in my eagerness to land the next deal, I had a 1 p.m. meeting right after lunch. The client and I sat across the table and I said, I'd love to learn more about your business. He said, sure. I asked the first question, then the next, then the next. His answers got shorter and I was taking copious notes. And when I looked up, he was dozing off. I literally put my own lead to sleep. Needless to say, I did not close that opportunity. But that's how we learn. The lesson wasn't ask more questions. It was practicing active listening to engage the person in front of you. Sales isn't interrogation, it's conversation. Which leads me to my next step, what you say in your conversations. Step number 3, your pitch is not your resume. When someone asks, so what do you do? That's not the time to list services. It's not, I run a consulting firm. It is who you help, what painful problem you solve, and what outcome you produce. Not I'm a marketing consultant, but I help B2B founders generate predictable inbound leads. Clear, concrete, and outcome-driven. Your initial informal pitch has one job: earn the next conversation, not close the deal. When we started selling analytics years ago, I used to go around and say, we have an analytics consulting agency. It felt great to say we're consultants. That got us blank stares. When we switched to, we help companies derive actionable insights from their marketing data, it changed the entire conversation. Same service, different framing. A pro tip here, not every sales interaction is a hard pitch. There are soft pitches and hard pitches. A soft pitch, a conversation at a networking event or even at the gym, earns you the next step. A follow-up call, a discovery session, or maybe a referral. A hard, formal pitch asks for commitment, proposal approval, contract signature, or payment. Now pause this video and say your pitch out loud. Have 2 versions, one short, 10 seconds, and one expanded, 30 seconds. If you're serious, drop this pitch in the comments or DM me on LinkedIn. I will review a few personally. I've put together some samples of bad pitches and ones that work. Check out the link in the description. Step number 4, reps build confidence. Now, you won't even get the chance to pitch if you let fear and perfectionism take over. I speak with 2 to 3 founders every week, and this is a big issue for a lot of them. If you're afraid of rejection or thinking a lot about your wording, that's not bad. That just means you need reps. Confidence is built by repetition. It's not a personality trait. Here are some practical steps you can put to use right away. Take the pitches you developed and say them out loud. Record them, play them back, improve one thing, and then repeat the process. I used to follow this exact process. I remember my business partner had a CD set by Tom Hopkins. I'd listen to how Tom presented himself and how he answered rejections and would repeat it and memorize it till it stuck. A pro tip. Now we have better tools. Take your pitch and then read it to your favorite AI, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and of course, give AI context about your business, your service, and your client profile, and then ask it for feedback. So here's an example. What do you think of this sales pitch? I help companies with marketing, not Claude, get you like not a good answer. Then refine the pitch based on the feedback you get from AI. Your first attempt will feel mechanical. That is okay. It is training. My good friend Aslak in his book, The Black Belt in Leadership, said, you can't grow without pressure. You either panic or breathe. He's a black belt and a world champion, and he's saying you'll feel the pressure. The fear never completely vanishes, but taking action and breathing through the discomfort is the only way to build authority. Quick recap. Problem solver mindset, check. Listen more than talk, check. Outcome-driven pitches, check. Practice, check. Now we activate. Step number 5, activation. Start the conversations. You don't build sales muscle by watching videos. Even if it's an amazing video like this one, you build it through conversations. That is, you must get comfortable telling strangers how you help. I am not talking about getting on stage in front of 200 people. I know public speaking ranks high on people's fear list. I am talking about something much simpler, telling people what you do. Many founders hesitate. They're shy, not confident yet, or fear being judged. And they wait for the perfect time, the perfect context, the perfect introduction. That moment rarely comes. So here's what you can do early on. Focus on 2 things. 1, warm contacts first, not cold email blasts, not obsessing over SEO or paid ads, but start with the people who already know you. Former colleagues, past managers, vendors, friends in adjacent industries, and anyone who already trusts your competence. You're not begging for work, you're informing your network. Hey, I've launched my consulting practice. Here's who I help and how. These conversations are most likely to generate your first opportunities and, as importantly, sharpen your pitch in real time. The second thing, expand outward. Go to networking events, industry meetups, founder groups, chamber events, professional associations, and have conversations. Practice your pitch, refine it, listen, adjust. If you live in a small town or far away from your target market and in-person events aren't realistic, then do this online. Find online meetups, niche communities, virtual industry events, or participate in LinkedIn discussions. Online is your second best option. In-person is still the fastest way to build muscle and earn trust. There are hundreds of marketing tactics you can try. Cold email, content marketing, ads, partnerships. All valid later. But in the beginning, you need live sparring, real conversations with real people. By the way, if you need help with sample outreach messages, I have the right template for you. Check out the link in the description. So you've listened to Ferris and gone out and connected with people. Yes, you made my day. And now you have 5 business cards and 5 new LinkedIn connections. And you're probably thinking, how on earth am I supposed to turn these leads into revenue? This is step number 6, master the sales funnel. If you don't know how to take the next steps in the sales process, you don't need more motivation. You need structure. There are different ways to represent the whole arc of sales: flywheels, pipelines, custom frameworks. I prefer the funnel. It gives consultants clarity on what must happen from the first touch to a signed contract. There are 5 core stages that you must move every deal through: awareness, leads discover you and you qualify them; education, you clarify problems and establish relevance; evaluation, they evaluate you, competitors, and themselves; negotiation, scope, pricing, timeline; and then commitment or sale. Contract signed, payment received. Now, the funnel looks linear and real life isn't. Sales conversations loop, people jump stages, they go quiet and they come back. I get it. But think of the funnel like a roadmap. You might get from point A to point E through different streets, but still have to pass through the same checkpoints. Understanding the stages matters more than the order and where leads land into the funnel. Because no matter what path the client takes, these components must be addressed. If you skip one, the deal weakens and momentum stalls. Now, if you want to get a deeper breakdown of how each stage works specifically for consultants and understand how to avoid pitfalls, I have a 20-minute deep dive dedicated entirely to sales funnels, linked in the description. Watch that after this. The next step, pipeline math. Now, all the movement or drop-off in the sales funnel comes down to math. If you close 20% of your qualified leads and you need 2 clients a month, you need 10 serious conversations, 10 real opportunities every month. Now let's reverse engineer it. Track 5 numbers: leads, qualified opportunities, demos, proposals, deals closed, or win rate. Now, once you start tracking your numbers, you'll notice something. You'll find leaks in the pipeline. It might be happening between demo presented and proposal sent, or proposal sent and deal closed. If you're losing deals in the early stages of the funnel, this could be due to a number of factors, including budgets shifting, client priorities changing, or a competitor sneaking in and pitching. While you cannot control external factors, one thing you can control is your responsiveness and attention to the client. So follow up like your business depends on it, because it does. Now use your judgment. Don't email the lead daily or call obsessively or text someone at 8 p.m. on Friday night. But don't disappear either. Every follow-up should add value. An industry report, a relevant case study, a quick competitive insight, a thoughtful clarification. Progress the conversation and maintain momentum, because the longer a deal drags, the weaker it becomes. Remember, time kills all deals. The next step, traction before perfection. Now you might ask, what's a good win rate? Well, early on, don't obsess over industry benchmarks for win rates. I am all for data and benchmarks. I wrote a book on it. But when you're starting out, your win rate will likely be very low. My win rate early on, 1 in 20, 19 rejections for every win. That's how you build muscle. Why? I was still learning how to sell, and I was being too picky. Many new consultants start with an ideal client or an ideal price point in their mind and filter too aggressively before they've built traction. In the beginning, your priority isn't optimization, it is traction and reps. Later, you can be more selective. Early on, you get experienced. And one thing I got experienced at, proposals, over 2,000 of them. I moved my win rate from 1 in 20 to roughly 1 in 3. But before we even get to the proposal step, there's a deeper variable that drives win rate. It is the people side of sales. And this is where most consultants miss the mark. Step number 9, all sales is emotional. Most consultants think sales is about logic, better framework, better slides, and ROI. Yes, those matter. But if you only present data and process, you miss the real driver. No matter who you're selling to, all sales is emotional, even in B2B, even with CFOs. People justify with logic, they decide with emotion. Fear of loss, desire for growth, pride, security, control. Take a small business owner. They may ask about pricing, timeline, and deliverables. That is the logical layer. But what they're really thinking is, can I trust this person? Will they actually move the needle? Am I about to waste money I can't afford to waste? They're not just buying a service, they're buying relief. So here's what you do. Don't just explain what you'll deliver, address what they're feeling. Reduce perceived risk. Acknowledge the stakes. Name the cost of inaction. Show them that you understand what's on the line for them. And now we're ready to cover the proposal step. You may think it's a great idea to get a proposal into a lead's hands as early in the sales process as possible, but in most cases, it's not. Send them only when you understand the need, budget is discussed, decision makers identified, urgency is clear. Otherwise, you're just creating paperwork. A proposal is not a brochure or a menu of services. It is an alignment document. A proposal should reflect 4 things: the diagnosed problem, the outcome they care about, the scope, the next step. When proposals reflect the client's exact pain and urgency, deals move. When they're generic, they die. Now, if you're at the stage where you're not just trying to improve sales, but you're building your consulting business from the ground up, from idea validation to pricing to positioning to client acquisition, check out my ultimate guide to starting a consulting business. It's a full step-by-step guide where I walk you through that entire journey.